All right, here we go. All right, so it's lunchtime, and you guys know what that means. It's another great episode of Lunchtime Talk with Steve. Today we have Stephanie Crevens on here with us. She's a motivational speaker, or well, a keynote speaker. She's oh my gosh, she does so much. She's a life coach. She's an executive coach. You name it, this lady seems to be able to do it and do it well. That's the thing. You know, she's on the top of her game, and I am happy to have her here with us today. So we're going to run the intro and do a commercial, and then we're going to come right back. Tell your friends that Steve is on and that he has Stephanie on with him today, all right? Go ahead and share it out with your friends, your relatives, your favorite groups. Hell, share it out with your enemies, the people you haven't talked to in a long time. Share it with everybody because they're going to enjoy this conversation, all right? We'll be right back with you, and we're going to talk to Stephanie then. All right, we are back, and we are here to today chatting with Stephanie. Give me just a second, Stephanie. Seems like my audio just gave me a crazy. All right, let's see. Can you hear me?
I can hear you great. Yeah, it sounds a little funny, but I can hear you well.
Does it sound crackly?
No, I think it's cleared up now.
Okay, yeah. There was, for some reason, my audio started acting up just a moment ago. I had that issue yesterday, and I don't understand what it did, what it was that that did it. But so anyhow, so I'm glad to have you here on the show.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, I'm ready to go. I'm anxious to have you on the show with me today. Okay, so first off, go ahead and introduce yourself to our viewers. Let them know who Stephanie is. And then you and I, we're gonna just get into a conversation and go back and forth. All right.
Yeah, that sounds good. Thanks for having me. Hey, my new friends listening here on the Lunchtime Talk with Steve show. My name is Stephanie Crevens. I'm based out of Indianapolis, and I'm an executive coach. I get to work with small business leaders across the country who are trying to do something really important and impactful in this world. And I get to be their guide, their Sherpa along the way, and with their leadership teams so that they can make more money, see better results, and at the end of the day, do something really, really important with their time and their life and their legacy.
All right, perfect. And okay, so explain to me a little bit about an executive coach is. What is it that you do exactly with the executives?
Yeah, so executive, that term is used kind of broadly. Let me frame it by saying Coaching is a special methodology in the personal and professional development continuum, if you will. So a lot of folks know about therapy, which is on one end of the continuum, and it's a very helpful resource, especially when you're in a place where you just can't get yourself out of it. You're so stuck, you're so mired in the muck that all you can do is think about what is going wrong. And I've been through tons of therapy myself. My therapist was at my wedding. I adore therapy. It's useful for people, but it's like archaeology in our lives. It's about digging up the past to discover the future. On the opposite end of that spectrum is coaching, which is all about architecture. It's all about designing your future so you can create the life that you want, the life that you deserve, and to make your dreams happen, right? A coach is never going to tell you that you're being unrealistic, because anything you want to create, you can absolutely create. So those are the two ends of the spectrums in terms of personal and professional development. There's training that fits in there as well. There are workshops that we can go to. There's different modalities there, but executive coaching is specifically when I work with a leader in a business. So you might have a CEO title, CFO, director of operations, vice president. That's usually what we mean by executive coaching. So executive coaching kind of combines your personal leadership presence, your self-management techniques with how you lead others. Business coaching is all about business strategy. So if you hear someone talk about being a business coach, they should focus first and foremost on business results before they focus on you as a leader. And then there's life coaching, which is all about your personal goals, your personal values, what's happening maybe in your personal relationships, the work that you're doing as a volunteer to make an impact in the world, whatever that is. But those are usually the three. I'm trying to stay on camera here. I think I'm kind of opposite here.
No, you're good. You're good.
All right. Those are usually the three modalities of coaching that I stay in. There's many different types, but when we think about coaching in the workplace, coaching for leaders, usually a leader is either buying executive coaching, which focuses on your leadership style, business coaching, which focuses on the business, or life coaching, which is very personal, and usually that person invests in on their own dime.
All right. So, and do you work with entrepreneurs that are like maybe they haven't already started, they just have a concept, and you help them to bring that concept out, or you help them to get that idea out of their head, or how is it that how would you help out an entrepreneur or someone that's just now starting out?
Yeah, a new entrepreneur. So yeah, absolutely, I help them. Coaching is an awesome resource to bring in at the beginning of the game to help you get clarity much more quickly. You can struggle through this stuff on your own. You can ask your friends who maybe owned a business once for their advice. That's not the same. A coaching is going to propel your progress forward. Now, if you're willing to pay for coaching, that's a test of whether or not you're all in, because I'm not cheap, because coaching is an investment, because you have to be willing to be all in on your success. So it's a great time to bring it in. But if you're going to pay for coaching, you got to make sure you're all in on making your business happen. I'm not trying to be flippant. It's just
No, I hear you.
It's an investment. It's an investment of time and talent and treasure. And so a coach is going to expedite your results, which is awesome. So if that's what you're looking for. So yeah, so I help business owners at that stage of the game. It's all about, what is your personal vision, mission, values? What kind of business do you want to create that's an extension of that? Chances are your business will have slightly different vision, mission, and values. And that's a good thing, because you are not your business. The longer you're in business, you have to separate yourself, your identities, from you as a human and you as a business owner or entrepreneur.
And that's one of the things I always tell people too, especially when they're first starting out. You invest thousands, tens of thousands of dollars in your business, whether it's a restaurant or whatever it is that you're doing.
Yes.
But then you don't put money into the things that matter, especially like coaching. If you don't have a mentor, someone that will do it for free, you need a coach. And the other thing is, when it comes to advertising, you need to advertise. If not, you're just the best kept secret. You may have the best food, but you're the best kept secret. So that's one of the things, and you're in Indiana. So the thing is, now with COVID and we're doing all these different things virtually, you're able to take clients from anywhere, correct?
That's right. Yeah, I have clients from across the country. So a big city lawyer in New York City to a nonprofit executive director in Des Moines, Iowa to a leader in Louisville. I cover the entire country.
They have people in Des Moines, Iowa. No, I'm just
They
joking.
do. I know. God love them. God love them.
That's so crazy because I remember when I went to Louisville, Kentucky. I've flown to a few different places for my job, and I got there, and what was so crazy is I went out in the middle of like nowhere, and I'm like, wow, this is like to me, my mind was blown. I'm like, this is what the rest of the country looks like. This is like what the Midwest looks like. Yeah, and I was so shocked. I'm
Well,
like, wow.
yeah. I'm gonna put Louisville in the South, but yeah, we look similar. Yeah.
Yeah, and like Indiana. Indiana's nice. I like Indiana.
I love it. Yes.
Yeah, it's really cool. It's kind of you have your city areas and then you have your country areas. This is it's pretty cool.
Yeah, yeah. We're like a
So
series of small towns, really. Everybody knows everybody, so it works.
so tell me about some of the life coach. How does that work?
Yeah, so life coaching is a slightly different process, just in that if you're paying for it personally, we don't have accountability to your employer. And
Hmm.
so there's less meetings. The pressure is a little intense, but with life coaching, we're really going to talk about your dreams, your aspirations, your goals. What do you want to make happen? Because too many people in our lives are busy telling us that we dream too big, we want too much, that we're overachievers and we need to slow down. And the people that I work with want to make something really important happen, right? Like we're the ones that think everyone else thinks we're a little bit crazy with what we want to change in the world. And
Hmm.
as your life coach, I'm going to tell you, you're not crazy, but you need to take massive action if you want to make it happen. So let's get clear on what that action is so that you can change the world. I'm not going to ask you to save the world. I'm going to say you need to change your part of the world that you're called to. We all have a purpose. And if you're sitting in my life coach chair, I'm going to teach you how to stand up for yourself, to get really clear on what you're here to do, and then go and do it.
And and that's the thing because I believe it was Steve Jobs, and I could be wrong, but I think it was Steve Jobs that said the ones that are crazy enough to think that they can change the world are actually the ones that do.
That's
And
right.
uh, and that's what I tell people, especially young kids, when I'm speaking to young kids at the schools and different things. I tell them all the time, if you really think you can do it, do it. Don't let anybody tell you. If someone tells you you can't do it, that's because they're thinking too small.
That's right. That's right. And the
Yeah.
limitations that our friends provide us as resources, we need our friends, we need our families, we need people to love us. But when you disrupt your life, by default, you're disrupting your relationship with them. They're
Hmm.
trying to keep your relationship whole. They don't want you to
Hmm.
go out too far because that risks their relationship with you. And of course, they can't say that, they can't articulate it because we're human beings, but that's really what's happening. And they present it as I have your best interests at heart. And what it ends up being is just, well, you shouldn't really do that because then how are we going to hang out on Friday night? And, how are you going to be there to help me to mow my grass if you're out trying to save the world? Like, I need you to for my things too. Oh no, you went muted. Nope. Something must be in retrograde. Nope. You better get it fixed. I'm going to start singing. Nope. There you are. No, you're gone.
All right, let's see now. How about that?
You're back.
All right, perfect. I'm not
Okay.
sure what's going on with I think it might be the cable for my Yeti. I don't know.
Mm.
Because I started getting that hum yesterday, and now today I'm getting a little bit of problems, so I think it could be that. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I think I don't know if you're picking me up from this or from the Yeti, but either way. Um, but I think like going back to what we were saying, when people say I have your best interests at heart, I think maybe they just have their best interests at heart, and they know that they depend on you, or and because I always believe that um, as we get older, we need to change our circle. I'm not
Mm.
saying we have to leave our friends and we have to forget about our friends and all these different things, but we have to change our circle. If we stay the same and we stay where we are, then we're not going to progress in life.
That's right.
So we teach our children to move on when they're in elementary school, and then they go to middle school, then they go to high school, they go to college. We teach them how to adjust to different things, but then when we get older, we forget and we don't want to adjust to anything. We just want to sit back, relax, and have the same friend for 20, 30, 40 years. I'm
Yes.
not I'm not saying we can't have those friends, but if I see that my friends aren't moving in the same direction, hey, I'm just saying. I did an episode a couple weeks ago. I don't know if you saw it, where I said sometimes you have to fire your friends, you
Mm,
know, and I
yeah.
believe that that's what we need to do sometimes. You know,
Yes.
fire
Yeah.
fire them and hire new friends.
Yes. I mean, I have some of my ride or die friends, right? The ones that I call, like, if my husband's in the hospital and I need support, they're coming over. Those are not
Mhm.
my entrepreneurial friends. They don't understand my life.
Right.
Our culture romanticizes entrepreneurialism. And I'm like, it's not romantic. And when I'm working at midnight 4 nights in a row, like, that's not romantic. And they don't get it. And they want to hear the good stuff. But my entrepreneurial friends, the ones that I sit in a mastermind with month after month, they understand the struggles. They understand needing to appear confident in some places and not having a safe place to be, to let your hair down and that kind of stuff. It's you need two different sets of friends for various parts of your life. And I hope for our listeners, those can be one set of friends for you. But in my case, because I evolved out of employment into what I'm doing now, it was very clear to me early on that I needed a different kind of tribe. And as an employee in a workplace, I always felt very lonely, like a misfit. Like, why can't I just fit in here? Right? Like, how come
Mhm.
no one appreciates when I say what everyone's thinking at the staff meeting, but no one else will? Like, no one. I think maybe I'm not meant to be an employee.
Hmm.
And going out on my own, I have a tribe of coaches and consultants here in Indy. They're my people. They're where I don't feel lonely. And I never thought going out on my own would be the way that I would find my people. And that's how it's worked out. So
So tell me, what made you decide to go out on your own? I mean, like what made you just make that jump, that leap of faith, and just go, listen, I could do this. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna make this happen. I mean, I know it wasn't easy. So
it's still not easy, but yeah. So a few different things happened in my life. I've always had the entrepreneurial bug. An uncle growing up, he was my role model. I loved him to death. He started his own new home construction company in the late 70s. And because of the way he ran his business during the housing crash in the early 80s, he was able to keep everyone on staff. I mean, he was an amazing human being. He's passed on now, but I always knew that my uncle Mike, like, I wanted to be like him. And I have a graduate degree in nonprofit management. I worked for Catholic Charities here in the Archdiocese of Indianapolis after I graduated. And I was always kind of starting a little side hustle. And back then it wasn't called a side hustle. It was I need to earn some money to pay off my student loan debt here. And that job was eliminated. I sweet talked my way into one of the best HR consulting companies here in Indianapolis, which I had no business being there. I mean, nonprofit social services marketing into HR consulting. Sure, why not? But I sweet talked my way in there, learned some really great things about the power of HR programming, what it's supposed to do for a company, compensation plans, training and development, all that functionality that a high performing organization has. I got to learn that as a consultant there. And then I also did some business development for them. That job was eliminated. Actually, only 6 weeks before the wedding we were paying for. No big deal. um, and then I joined a national nonprofit that I was deeply passionate about that did Christian social justice across the country. So we wrote curriculum for churches so lay facilitators could pick up one of our programs and just facilitate it within their church to educate Christians on the realities of domestic and global poverty, as well as your obligation as a Christian to help end some of those systemic problems and daily problems if you call yourself a Christian, right? What are we called to there? And so at that organization, I did 3 transformative projects for them. And the last one was converting multiple Excel files and an old fundraising database into Salesforce. They're a modern CRM. So basically, from a data perspective, they went from 1992 to 2013 in a matter of months. And it's because I did that for them. And 40,000 constituents, millions of dollars of tracked revenue, all needed to be in one place. And I said yes to it because I wanted to be impactful on the mission. And I don't know if I'm allowed to cuss on this show. I flippin' hated it. We're new friends, Steve. I didn't know.
You can say whatever you want to say on the show.
Okay. All right. Fucking hated it. Like every night I wanted to drink a bottle of wine. Like I was so miserable. And I come from a family of alcoholics. And so I knew that wasn't the best self-care mechanism out in the world. So for the record, that never happened. But I was like, I've got to freaking change this. Like, I hate my life. I hate this. And so I went to go see a friend who was a life coach. I didn't really know what he did or what I was paying him for, but I was like, I need help. Like I said, like I told y'all earlier, my therapist was at my wedding. I adore her. Her name is Carla. She's the best thing to happen to me since sliced bread besides my husband. Like, that was one resource. That's not what I needed. And he was a life coach. And I was like, help me figure out why I'm so frustrated. And within 3 sessions, he got me brave enough to say to myself, because I knew it all along, I couldn't articulate it, I never want to work for anyone ever again. I have a vision that I want to bring alive in my lifetime for myself. I don't know what that vision is, but I'm going to make one happen. I'll figure that out later as I go. Number 2 is I'm not a team player. Like whatever this definition of team playing and politicking that we're expected to do as an employee, like screw that, because it's horseshit and it accomplishes nothing. And I can't do it. Like I physically cannot do it. And I don't want to learn that skill. And then the third was I want to become a coach, because coaches get to offer new perspectives. They get to ask people powerful questions. They get to be curious and they're valued for it, versus when I say what everyone's thinking at the staff meeting, but no one else will say out loud except for me, I get the, did she really just do that? I was like, yeah.
I know. I know exactly how you feel. That's what's so crazy. It's like, I know how you feel. Trust me.
Awesome. Oh, I want to hear about that too. I can tell we're siblings from another mother. I can tell that already.
Right? Because it's like growing up, I've always felt like, okay, there's got to be something better than working for someone. I always look at it this way: if you're paying me X amount of dollars, you're probably making 10 times that amount off of my services. Why can't I do that? I mean, and I always feel like if you hire me to do a job, then obviously I have the skills to do that job. I have the ability to do that job, and I have the ability to make money for you. So it's like I'm keeping your business afloat, but I'm afraid to jump to do it for myself. It's so crazy. It's like, and I've always had that feeling like, I don't know. And there was a DJ on the radio, a talk show host on the radio down here. He was syndicated all throughout the U.S. Michael Baisden, and he always said, "Do what's easy, do what's hard when things are easy." So it's like he would say, "Start your business when you have a job," and that's what made me decide to really start doing the talk show and different things like that, because I really want to start. I would love to be able to do this full time. So one of the other things is people always call me about their business. And they would always call me up, Steve, how do I do this? How do I do that? And I would have the answer. And if I don't have the answer, I'd find the answer for them. And I got tired of seeing people making money off of the advice I give them. And I'm like, but wait a second, you didn't give me a check. You didn't. I helped you to just go out there and generate, $5,000-$10,000 in a week or in a month. Can I get 10%? I mean, 2%, 1%?
Yeah.
How about a cheeseburger lunch at McDonald's? It's on the dollar menu. You can at least do that.
Yes.
So it's like, so I'm at that point in my life now that and I hate to use the buzzword that everyone's using, but I'm at the point in my life where I'm pivoting a little bit now, so I can change, just somehow help people and generate income for myself. I'm tired of giving away my services, so that's why I understand what you're saying. And then I was always that guy that was in the team meeting that everyone's thinking, the boss says, we're going to come to work on Saturday. And everyone's thinking, oh my God, I don't want to work on Saturday. Can't we just work 1 hour extra a day and we can do the same job? But no one says it. And as soon as I say, well, can't we just work 1 hour extra a day instead of coming in on Saturday? Everyone's like, oh my God, I can't believe you said that.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Dude, you were thinking it.
Yeah. Yes. 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 Yeah.
So everything you're saying, I'm thinking to myself, yep, I heard it. I know it. um, you know,
Yes.
um, but I think that one of the things that we have to do um as a society, we really have to start to like I said, my show all the time, we are brothers keepers,
Yeah.
and we have to help each other. We have to reach out and help each other. That doesn't mean that you help me and I don't help you. If you help me and I make money, I should pay you for your service, or give you a service for free because I know that it's going to come back later on, whatever. But we have to help each other out, and I feel that that's one of the main things for a coach, but I want to come back and talk to you about something else. I'm going to take a quick commercial break, but I do want to come back and talk to you about something else because, we see all these different things going on in society today. And I want to talk to you about some of those. I would like to be able to find out what you would say to some of these executives. There was a story that I just read this morning. I don't know if you saw it with some of the black franchisees suing McDonald's.
Oh,
So,
yes. Yeah.
so we'll come back and talk about that in just a moment, okay?
Yeah. Yeah. You got it.
All right. Let me tell you about CCTV RX. With over 30 years in the security industry here in South Florida, they have proven themselves to be the first choice when it comes to security professionals. So whether you're trying to secure your home or your business, there's no other choice. Give them a call today for a free estimate.
Would you like to be more tech savvy, create your own compelling graphics, sales pages, and marketing tools? Would you like to effectively use social media to generate more leads? If the answer is yes, register for one or all of the 8-module digital marketing series. You will feel comfortable in a judge-free, nurturing environment as we get the work done. My name is Melissa Jane, and I am your tech trainer.
If your car could talk, it would say call Curvin's Car Detailing Service. It's mobile and they can come to you no matter where you are in Broward County. Give Curvin a call, 954-549-8507, and tell him that Steve sent you.
Baby, won't you take me there? I want some real good food to eat. I want shucking and jiving. Shucking and jive. I want shucking and jive. Shucking and jive. Shucking and jive. I want shucking and jive.
Well, I know I got what you want. I know you like that dive shrimp. My southern fish and them geechee grits. My granddaddy make you have a fit.
Right on.
I try to give you all of my best. I do it straight from the heart. Cook it straight from the soul. Now. Straight from the soul. Yeah. Straight from the soul. Yeah, yeah,
Ooh, that's what it is, what it is. That's where it's at, that's what it is. Come on down and shuck it and jive. And Cajun food with an old school groove. Our designers to get your taste palette back in line, baby. Follow us at We Shuck It.
All right, guys, we are here. We're back, and we are talking to Stephanie Crevens today. All right, she's an executive coach. She's a life coach. She has a lot of insight on different things that are going on because she's one of the people who actually help to influence some of the executives you see out there. She helps them to bring out the things that are in them. So if you guys are an entrepreneur, if you're looking at being an entrepreneur, if you feel like you're stuck in your life, Stephanie's the kind of person you want in your life. All right, she'll help you to see the greatness in you. All right, so definitely that's someone that you want to reach out to. All right, and if you guys haven't already done it, go ahead and click like on Facebook or subscribe on YouTube and click the little bell so you know whenever we're on. All right, so Stephanie, hey Stephanie, there you are.
Hey.
All right, so thank you very much for being on here with us. And I wanted to ask you, so like let's look at the McDonald's situation, and we know that these things happen all the time. What would you say to an executive at McDonald's or Burger King? Well, Burger King hasn't been included in this, so I'm going to leave them up. But let's just say McDonald's. What would you say to an executive at McDonald's after reading the article where they were sued by black franchisees for putting them in substandard areas and pretty much setting them up for failure?
Yeah, so for folks who've not seen the article, a little background. So for decades now, the data coming out on franchises that are owned by blacks at McDonald's, they tend to have much worse business, or not as successful, not as profitable margins and revenues as white franchisees. Sorry, and so the data is pretty damning based on what I've read in popular news outlets. So I do want to preface my opinion with I'm not associated with McDonald's in any kind of way. This is my outside opinion, and I will add the layer of my calling in this world is to be a bridge between those who have and those who don't have. I grew up in a very economically poor household. My mother has a GED. It was also very dysfunctional. My dad left when I was 5. He was an alcoholic, left the state so he didn't have to pay child support. Fast forward, I have a master's degree and a financial planner, and I get a new car every 3 years because I want one. Like, I am a bridge between all of those worlds. And I try to bring those different perspectives to the folks that aren't on the side of the bridge that my client is on, or vice versa. So from this perspective, talking to business leaders about looking at the data as it relates to the results that their black franchisees are getting versus their white franchisees, that seems pretty simple and straightforward to me. Like, the data says that their results are not the same. And your job as a leader is to protect all of your people. So what are you doing to change this story that data has created? What are you doing so that there's equity? Right? There's so much that goes into these types of situations, both historical and point in time, that create these situations. Clearly, McDonald's has not been dealing with it for decades. And so that's your job, is to ask why. Why is this happening? And what will we do about this so that all of our franchisees can share in the same level of success as it makes sense? So to me, it's the opportunity is to be curious, not, well, I created millions of dollars for you, Steve, but Karen over here, in Indianapolis, she got 10 times that, but you still got your millions of dollars, so you should be grateful. No, it is not time as a leader to grandstand. It's your opportunity to get curious about what's really happening.
True. Well said. I mean, I don't have anything else to add to that.
Sometimes I feel like my job is to state the obvious, but I know it's not as obvious to some folks. But there's no clear answer. There's no like, this is the absolute right answer, the right path forward. This is an opportunity to ask better questions, because what the data is telling us that we're doing is creating vast inequity, and that as human beings should not be okay.
And and that's the thing. I mean, like you said, sometimes you state the obvious, but it's not what you're saying; it's who's saying it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That makes a difference, because and we see it like now with the Black Lives Matter movement. We've been saying it for years, and no one paid attention. White people come on board and start marching with us, and they're saying it, and it's like, oh my God, really? Hold on a second. But that's the thing, though. That's why we need to unite, because everyone does. To be honest, every black person doesn't follow the Black Lives Matter movement, and every white person isn't jumping on the police bandwagon. So it's like, so we have to stand firm in whatever it is that we believe, because we have to. If we don't stand firm in what we believe, then we can't complain when the other side gets what they want. And it's almost like voting. I mean, if I don't vote for my candidate, I can't complain when the other candidate wins.
Right.
I would vote.
Right.
What am I complaining about? Who am I complaining about? Because I'm part of the problem in that case. I think that one of the other issues that we find is that just like for example we see when it came down to it for the women getting equal pay for equal job, that was great. Everyone stood behind it, but black men still aren't being paid equally for jobs that they're doing with their white counterparts.
Right, right.
So, black women now are covered under that bill. So that's one thing. But it's like, I'm still left out in the cold without a
Well, when you
blanket.
look at the data, there's a day in August where that we just had it a couple weeks ago where
uh,
that's the date that Black women have to work to in order to earn as much. Oh, I'm going to get this wrong. I'm going to butcher this. But it's basically some date in August that Black
mhm,
women have to work to. That's what they earn. Ah, shoot. Shoot. We're gonna have to look this up because this is gonna drive me nuts. But it's because the pay inequity is so strong. Basically,
mhm,
um, I think I'm gonna say this right. Black women have to work all of 2019 and up to a certain date of 2020 in order to earn all of what a white dude earned in 2019. I may have butchered that because
and,
I'm not,
and
but that like that's so screwed. Like that's so wrong. Like that, and that's clearly a systemic issue. And
mhm,
instead, we think that it can be fixed with the daily charitable acts when there are clearly systemic problems that need law changes, that need corporate accountability at a new kind of level.
mhm.
That the political power is not there yet to make it happen.
And we just had a news anchor that quit her job. I mean, like literally, she
Mhm.
didn't do it. She didn't quit on air, but down here in South Florida, she quit. I mean, she was on the air that Saturday morning, and then Saturday afternoon. It's like you're seeing on her Facebook page. She had a video where she goes, "I can't do this anymore. I've been working in the news industry for like 16 years." And she said she's seen people come in that came in as interns. She trained them and they went on to be promoted above her, and she quit because of that, because she just got tired of seeing these people moving up, and her gripe was mostly men that were doing it. She didn't say black or white or anything else, but
Mhm.
and I've seen people that on that same station that moved up, and she was still doing the Saturday and Sunday morning where these other people were moving up, and yes, they were, some were black, some were white, but and she's a black woman. But the thing is, it's like we see it and we don't realize it when we see it,
Mhm.
because it's so well hidden that we don't realize it. And just like, for example, like you were saying, you have that idea that you always wanted to work for someone else, and I mean, you always want to work for yourself. You didn't want to work for someone else. Then that could be the excuse that that boss would use to keep you in a certain position. Well, Stephanie's not really showing initiative, but Bob is, so that's why I promoted Bob over Stephanie. And you're like, but wait a second, I do more than Bob. Yeah, well,
Oh
then it's
wait.
your attitude.
Oh yeah. No, let's be clear. It was I oftentimes got pitched as competition to the top leader because I took
Mm,
so much initiative, because I'm so smart, because I'm capable of so much. It was you need to back down. Like you don't get to challenge the CEO. And I'm like, uh yeah, I do. Like,
exactly. It's like, why
yeah, I
not?
do.
Why
Yeah.
don't we get to
Yeah.
challenge the CEO?
I'm here for
You
the
know,
mission. Like I'm here for the mission. I'm here to make the mission better. If that comes across as challenging the CEO, okay, cool. Like you can challenge me back, but I can't tiptoe around your ego.
exactly. And that's one of the biggest things that we see. We see people that it's like if I'm hiring someone and the person comes and say, if I say, like say I'm interviewing you and I say, Stephanie, why should I hire you? If you tell me because one day I want to be running this country, this company, I like that. I like the initiative that you have. You want to
Yeah.
run the company. I love that. Some people get challenged and they're like, oh gosh, she's coming for my job. Yeah, no, we're not gonna hire her. Dude, I want the one that wants to run the company. I want the one that's going to make this, that's going to take this and feel like, okay, I get it. Like, for example, I used to work, when I worked at McDonald's when I was a kid, we had a manager named Lyle. And Lyle would be like, If he drove into the parking lot and he saw garbage out there, he's not going to go say, "Hey, Steve, go pick up the garbage." He picks it up on the way in. You
Yes.
know, so it's like he had this whole thing like he was Mr. McDonald. I mean, seriously, it's like
Yes.
he ate, breathed, sleep, everything McDonald's, and it was, and that's the kind of guy that makes you feel like I want to work for him, even though
Yes.
he was really hard on us. But we wanted to work for him because he didn't just go tell you go out and do it; he did it himself.
Yes.
So, and he loved to promote people. You showed that you had initiative. You could be team lead, you could be you could be assistant manager, you could be manager, you could be so many. Lyle will move you up based on what he sees, and the harder you work, boom, you're in there.
Yes.
That's something that I think we need more of, instead of being intimidated and saying, "Oh my God, she's coming for my job." You know what I mean? That should be good. Stephanie should come for your job, because then you should look to move to something else.
That's
You
right.
should be, you know what I mean? And if there's nothing else, retire. Let me sit on my yacht and let Stephanie run the business. How about that? That's what I'm talking about.
Word.
Let's see. Energy in the Black community would be much better expanded, in my opinion. Organizing groups, raising funds, and grooming politicians, writing bills, etc., than protests. Um, I'm not sure how to pronounce the person's name, so I can't call them by name. But and let's see, he also says, or they also say, um, you can sit around asking for change, but you can create change. And you know what? Honestly, okay, I'm gonna have to, because yes, we do need to have we do need to have more black politicians. We need to have more groups. But the problem is that a lot of these things are kind of stifled on the ground level. They don't get a chance to grow. I was running for office here in my in Broward County. I was running for school board member. And to be honest with you, I learned so much about running for public office.
Hmm.
One of the things is it's hard to go against the establishment.
Uh-huh.
The people that have friends in high places and have and and know people, they tend to get the campaign donations that I'm not going to get. Yeah, I mean, you have people that are raising $150,000 for a campaign for a job that only pays like 50 grand, and it's like, and then you're seeing them getting money from all these different groups that I would think a conflict of interest, but no, like we had the property appraiser. He raised money from so many different groups that were um, construction companies, that were property management companies. I would never, if I were running for property appraiser, I'd never think of asking these companies for donations, because I'm thinking that could be a conflict, but apparently not. But so going back to what the person was saying, a lot of times it's tough, because when you try to organize these groups and you try to run for an office, you're trying to raise funds, you're asking people who don't have money to give you money,
Hmm.
which is kind of like, like you were saying, you grew up in an economically deprived household. So if you went to your mom and you said, "Mom, I'm 16 years old. Can you buy me a new car?" She's going to say no, because she doesn't have the money to buy that car. Same thing, but you have a community that you're asking to donate money to you and to help you get to where you want to go, but they don't have the money to do it. So it's like it's kind of crazy, but
Well, yeah, yeah. Can I push back on that a little
sure,
bit?
go ahead.
Yeah, I think, one, the Barack Obama campaign taught us that the power of those small donations. Now, it takes a shit ton more work to get $51 donations and one $50 donation, or,
Hmm.
50,000 versus whatever. So uh, I, I think there's that piece, but there's also, if we're looking outside the power structure, we have to look at what are the different kinds
Hmm.
of wealth that people might have that might be helpful for you. It may not be the money, that's one form of wealth, but that communal connection could get the people to the polls to get you the votes, and that's what matters. So there, I think in this case we have to look at broader definitions of wealth in order to create a new kind of power and insert
Mhm.
ourselves into a power structure that maybe we don't currently belong. And to this person's point, and I'm going to try to butcher the name Stray. I apologize. I'm from Indiana and I say Hoosier things sometimes. But to your point, it's really embarrassing, Steve. But to your point, buddy, it's not either or. I think it's both and. All of these gifts are needed in order for systemic change to happen. We need protesters. We need more Black politicians. We need more groups doing community organizing. We need more people on our side writing the bills that we support. We need more of all of that. It's not either or. It's both and. It's always both and. And so I don't think of it as separate activities. I think of, what is your charism? What is the way that you're supposed to change the world? Go do that. I'm not meant to be a protester, but when I lost my foster children to an inept, unjust system, and now they're sentenced to a life of poverty because their birth mother's rights were more important than their rights to have a safe and stable childhood, I use my voice to testify in front of our House of Representatives. That's how I'm meant to change the world, because I was given this very articulate mouth, unfortunately / fortunately. I'm not meant to protest. I'm not meant to yell. I'm meant to use my education and my power and my presence and my words and my experiences to create change that way. So I think when we demonize one form of change over the other, we create division in our community, and we need to unite through power, not say, no, that's the most ineffective way, do it my way. You need to do what you're called to do and let that person do what they're called to do.
And and the thing is too, like when I see, like when I hear things that are said by politicians and by different people, and sometimes they're like, oh well, that's a Black problem or whatever. What's so crazy is, no, it's not. It's a people problem. It's not just a Black
Yes.
problem.
Yes, we
Because, like,
belong to each other. We belong to each
yeah,
other. If one is hurting, we're all hurting. Like, empathy will change the
like,
world. Sorry, Steve, I'm gonna get on my soapbox now because it's just,
no, no,
yeah,
no,
it's
no. But the thing is, I was reading another article with a guy named Robert DeBose, I think his name is,
okay.
and he did 37 years in prison for a crime he didn't commit,
Yep.
and this is a white guy. So it's not just the Black guy that does this kind of time in prison. And when I started thinking about it, I'm like, wait a second, okay,
Mhm.
I'm 50. He did 37 years in prison for a
Mhm.
crime he didn't commit. That
Yep.
means he went to prison when I was 13. I was in middle school when he went to prison.
Mhm.
And I started thinking all the things I've done since then. And I'm like, wow.
Yep.
I mean, seriously,
He
for a
was
crime he did not commit.
he was probably poor. If anybody's familiar with Brian Stevenson's work in Just Mercy,
Mhm.
it's more damning to be poor and Black and poor, or poor and white, than it is to be rich and guilty in this country, the way our justice system is set up. So
Mhm.
I'm not shocked, only because I've done that research with you. Like, it's that system brings tears to my eyes. It's the terrible things that happen to human beings in that system, and mostly because they're economically poor, and then when you add on the label of having brown skin, what we do is a
I'm
travesty.
I'm looking at the other comment that the same person made, and I don't know how to pronounce the person's name. Maybe they could text us
Yeah.
a phonetic spelling of their name, so we'll know.
Mhm.
I agree, but anything is better than nothing. But there's only X number of energy, so it has to be used efficiently and intelligently. Protest tends to, yeah, okay, it exerts spent up energy, but here's the thing though. A lot of times protest is sometimes, like Stephanie just said, is one person's way of getting out what's built up inside. That's their way of expressing it. Everyone is not going to be able to go and speak in front of Congress. Everyone's not going to be able to to speak to a politician. But they can go out there with their signs. Now the problem is when we see these infiltrators that come in and they start trouble, and then then it's blamed on the protest or the protest organizers. That's an issue because now it's like, oh my God, the protesters did this. No, the protesters didn't do that. And we saw that the other day with the guy in I don't remember where he was. The 17-year-old kid with the 17-year-old guy with the gun that shot the two people. He
In
wasn't even
Kenosha,
from that state.
Wisconsin.
Yeah, he
Yep,
wasn't even from
Kenosha.
that state. So it's like that goes to prove that there are people that are coming in from out of state. Here in Miami, when we had protests, Black Lives Matter protests in Miami and in Barrow County, the majority of people that got arrested for vandalism and for destroying property were not even residents of the state of Florida. These people were coming from other states. So it's like you come down here with the intent of doing what? Because we have a lot of peaceful protests, but
Hmm.
then we also have a lot of people that come in to make it seem like the protest is not peaceful. So but going back to what they were saying is yes, the protest is needed because I do feel like it's needed because like you said, Stephanie, everyone's not gonna have the same way to express themselves. He said, in other words, if someone is angry, let them punch a bag for an hour. Now they're so tired of being angry. Nothing has been resolved other than energy. Okay, but that's not the thing, though. I mean, I think a lot of times what it is that people see life differently. Like I have a lot of white friends, and when we have conversations, especially about race and about things with the police and stuff like that, their first thing is, well, the person must have done something wrong because the cops won't pull you over for nothing. Yes, the cops will pull you over for nothing, but
You
the
went
thing
to,
is,
oh, you're so cute. You're so cute.
I know, right? Yeah, because it's like the thing is that what they don't realize is the cop won't pull you over for nothing, but they will pull me over for nothing. They'll pull me over and question, whose car is this? What are you doing in this neighborhood? All these different things that they won't pull over a white person and ask them. They won't pull over a white person and ask them these things if they're in a nice neighborhood or driving a nice car, a Mercedes or a BMW or whatever. I mean, they
Well,
never do.
and I think, Steve, the point of this conversation is, we have to be empathetic with other people's experiences. No, we think that there's one America. We think that there's one American system, and the America that you experience is different than the America that I experience. And
Hmm.
without empathy, we can never build that connection to understand why why young African American experiences in low income neighborhoods should not be okay for anyone's child versus, well, I got mine, they need to get theirs. Like, that's not okay. It's y- you know any form of activism should open the door to empathy and helping other people understand what's really going on. um, versus trying to use some generalities for situations and things like that. It's just there's not one America that we all experience, and I don't think we should pretend like there is. Um, but if you believe that we belong to each other like I do, then you'll reach out and be curious about what happened in your life. Tell me how you got these views. Tell me why you think this way versus let me tell you why I'm right.
Exactly. And you know what? And I think that's what we need more of. I think we need to send you to the White House. That's what we need to do.
I wouldn't last a hot minute there. You kidding me?
They say I was right and I was pulled over for nothing too. I was pulled over for a license plate light being out. Okay, but that's the difference. That's not nothing. I mean, when I say nothing, I'm talking about just pull you over just to ask you, what are you doing in this neighborhood? Not because your license plate is out. Your light is out. Okay, I was asked where I was coming from. None of their business. Cops are not service people. Okay, but again, that's a little bit different. But I do have to run, so
Yep.
I'm gonna definitely have to have you back on the show again because I enjoy having a conversation with you.
Thank
Um,
you.
But my whole thing now is to try to keep it under 1 hour so that I can put it on YouTube. On not YouTube. What do you call that one? Instagram.
Got it.
Because
Got it.
if it's even 1 second over an hour, Instagram doesn't allow you to do it.
Got it. Well, we got to wrap up soon though, so we can get
Yeah,
it on the
definitely.
gram.
Exactly. We have 2 minutes and 20 seconds left.
That's
But,
right.
but Stephanie, thank you very much. I really do appreciate you being on, and we will definitely have you back again. I enjoyed the conversation, and there's still a lot more that you and I need to chat about on the air so that we can, just get people into a little bit more unity. So see what we can do about uniting this country a little bit.
Yes, I love it. We'll at least start with uniting some people, then we'll see how far we can get.
Yeah, there we go. That's what I'm talking about.
I love it. Thank you so much, Steve. I appreciate it.
Thanks,
Great
Stephanie.
conversation.
I appreciate you being on the show. All right.
All right.
You have a good one.
You too.
Everybody. Hey guys, all right. So we just spoke with Stephanie. Awesome conversation. Awesome conversation. I think that that there's a lot that we need to do in order to get this country united, and we really have to start talking to each other a little bit more. We have to have open and honest conversation, but not just talk to each other, but we need to hear what the other person is saying. We can't just listen and then go, oh, but they're wrong. No, you don't know where they're coming from, so you can't tell them they're wrong on either side. All right. So these are things we need to do. All right, guys. As always, I'll take care of yourself. Take care of each other. Do a random act of kindness for a stranger, because tomorrow you may be that stranger that need that random act of kindness. Also, go out to the website, lunchtimetalkwithsteve.com, and check out some of the services that we have available. All right, guys. Thanks very much. I really appreciate you guys watching. We are going to have Stephanie back again so we can chat more about some of these other issues. All right. Talk to you later. Peace, people. Please visit lunchtimetalkwithsteve.com if you would like to be a guest or advertise on the show. If you're interested in any of the products or services you saw on the show today, or if you would like to be a guest on the show, please visit our website, lunchtimetalkwithsteve.com.